everybody, it's Daddy1424, Team PG, otherwise known as the Media Purchase Guide, and today we're going to be talking to you about the PS Vita, initial sales, software, and all that good stuff. Let's get right down to it. Before we do, remember to like, thumbs up, subscribe, and leave some comments down below. Now, the Vita has been quite a promising system with sales and all over the place, from ups to downs to high lows to here we go. And let's go ahead and talk about the console itself, because it's a beast of a product here. And we'll just start with the actual hardware makeup. So we have a power button. We also have where your game would go here on the top. We'll just open this up and show you what the cartridges actually look like. So you can see I have Gravity Rush in there. And then beside here we have an accessory that has yet to be revealed, or I believe will come into play at a later date. And it's just a random port. And I'm not actually quite sure what it's utilized for, but you can see it right there. Further to the left of that, we have the volume rockers up and down. We also have your right and left trigger, a 5-inch touch capacitive screen, followed by a rear touch capacitive. We have your dual joysticks, your D-pad, and your standard PlayStation buttons from your triangle, square, X, and circle. We also have a front-facing camera and a rear-facing camera, good for video calling and pictures and all that great stuff you want to incorporate into your devices. Again, this is capable of searching the net. It also has a 8-core processor that is a 4-core CPU, 4-core GPU. It has a 512 megabyte RAM followed by a 128 VRAM. So you can see it's quite a powerhouse of a device. But with every powerhouse of the device has to come with those accessories. Actually, I did forget to show you one port. The charger port, the 3.5mm, and of course the memory port. And I'm bringing up the memory port because it caused quite a bit of kerfuffle. I made up my own word there, kerfuffle. And I just want to point it out to you guys. The reason why is because people were in uproars. The system launched at about $299, depending if you wanted to get a Wi-Fi or a 3G respectively, and then based from there, your pricing would obviously tier, I think, from $249 to $299. They had different iterations of the system, launching with the first edition bundle, which gave you things like little DV, a carrying case, a 4GB card, and all that great stuff, as well as the system. Now the memory cards, proprietary memory cards themselves, range from about $19 all the way up to about $100 if you were talking 32GB. When it came to download size, it was causing some issues. Games like Uncharted running you at about 3 gig if you purchase it from the store. But if you weren't and you were actually buying the cartridges or the cases, then you were only looking at about a 20 meg or whatever it was install. So it wasn't significantly heavy. So first thing first, I want to teach you guys or tell you guys and express to you is if you're going to pick up a PS Vita, I highly recommend an 8 gig card. That's a pretty good starting range for you guys. So after the software and after all that good stuff, we're going to move on to accessories. So we have accessories like the PDP trigger grip, and if you haven't had a chance to take a look at this, I highly recommend it. You can jump over to my blog channel, Daddy1424 Team PG. You'll find it in the feature channel, and it offers a lot of PS videos, including tips and tricks, how-tos, accessories, gameplays, all that good stuff. But this is one of my favorite devices or accessories because it just offers so much. It gives you that real PS3 controller feel. And I'm going to actually go ahead and take the PS Vita and pop it in. You just kind of slide it in downwards. People were complaining about the triggers actually scuffing the actual physical triggers inside the Vita. I personally haven't had that issue. If you do get that issue, you can do things that are resolved by putting pieces of tape on the inside, and that will prevent it from scuffing the actual triggers. Just a little tip there for you guys. So moving away from that, we also have the headset, very Skull Candy-like with the microphone, 3.5mm jack. It comes with additional earbuds, it's almost hair buds. That would be really weird. And we have your carrying case, which does provide quite a bit of protection for you, and you can see that. Inside you have a little mesh pocket for things like your augmented reality card or your headset. Also carrying cases of up to 4. If you need more, well, then you're probably going to have to buy an additional, and you can see it does provide a somewhat of a patented protection. So putting that aside, you have the augmented reality cards. I felt that the Vita never fully utilized this. It has tried and tried and tried to push augmented reality. I don't believe it was great. I believe it was mediocre at best. But hopefully we can see where that goes in the future. Initially, the system had problems selling. Sales were about 400,000 in Japan when that was the initial launch. When it came to North America in about February, because it was launched in December and January, and Japan first. So when it came out in February, we're looking at about 1.3 million sales after the first 3 days. Great initial sales, but it also had to do with the great initial software lineup. Thereafter came problems. And the software from some of the mega hits, from Uncharted to all the way down to FIFA to Wipeout 2048, and then it was like, well, where do we go from here? This is the problem with the PS Vita. Sorry, Nexus just decided to interrupt my video.
Sorry, dude. I had to come in. I had to. You know what? I gotta say, everything you said up to now, I completely agree with. Completely 100%. The system is phenomenal. Everything it offers, the games that are currently out there, there's so many good ones. But you've kind of touched on it, and I just had to.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, we've talked about it. You know what? It's the software, guys. We need to see that software. You know, where is it? Where is that? All the A+ software we're looking to really see on the system.
Well, when you say software, people were expecting a lot from E3. They were thinking that it was going to be a revitalization. And I say revitalization, actually.
I see what you did there.
Of the Vita. And it wasn't. It fell flat on its face because you touched upon it. We've touched upon it as you know, a conglomerate or as a unit here. My apologies. Conglomerate's not the right word. As a unit here. That the sales, you know, faltered off because of the software not being there. And every time we saw software, we saw a spike.
Yeah, exactly. You know, something comes out, any game, you see Resistance, anything like that, and then all of a sudden the system sales boom up. And that should be an indication. People want the Vita, but they were kind of felt burned by the PSP, but people want it. And when that game comes out, they're like, okay, now I want to get it. If the software was consistent, the sales would be consistent.
Well, here's the thing. People are pissed off with Sony for that perspective, and they're saying, come on, Sony, put out some more titles. We love the Vita. I support the Vita huge. We gotta see that software. We have games like Assassin's Creed 3 on the horizon, Call of Duty, Black Ops,
those are exclusives, yeah?
Exactly, and this is the thing, and that's what we need to see, not just software, but exclusive software.
Not just ports. We don't want to see ports over. We want to see exclusives as well, absolutely.
Well, when we're talking about software, we want to actually show you some of the games, so we're going to make sure we have that up for you guys while we're talking here. So what's the first game we want to show to people here?
Let's show them Resistance, shall we?
Resistance,
Check it out.
Resistance is a great game, guys. We'll pick up the case here for you. You can see the color, the vibrancy. Again, you can check out for more information across the net, even our channels, 901424, Nexus Team PG. So make sure you check that out. This is a great game. It does require an online pass for those of you who are unaware. It has one player, multiplayer 2 to 8, 2 megabyte, and
that was a good thing to say. The multiplayer in this game is really good.
It was. You know what? You've had a chance to play it. We both loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
It has quite a great upgrade system implemented into it. The story and the campaign is absolutely phenomenal. Right. Easy game to plat. If you're a trophy guy, go plat this. And I know he's laughing because I got my plat off it, and I was... Oh yeah, I got the plat. Great. Resistance, right?
If you love trophies, that's where you go.
Exactly. In Resistance, it does so many great things. The texture mappings aren't necessarily the best, but they're good. The draw distance is not... It is, and this is the thing with the Vita. But I think people forget, when they talk about Resistance, they say the graphics aren't there, they aren't great, they aren't phenomenal. Now, I would beg to differ and say they're good graphics, they're not top line. But here's the thing people forget. At the end of the day, what is the core value of any game?
You want to have fun.
Exactly. And we talked about that from games like Duke Nukem, a lot of other games there, and that's what Resistance brings to the table.
Exactly.
So moving on from Resistance, what should be the next game maybe we should put out for people?
Since we were talking about ports and stuff like that, I think we should talk about Rayman, eh?
You know what? That's a great port to use.
That's a perfect example.
And where is it here?
Oh, we are right there. I am not taking that out.
This one here?
This one right here.
Jenga.
Oh, look at that. And he does it.
Ooh, that's called Jenga.
That is harder than it looks. Trust me.
He knows he failed.
Yeah.
So memory required for this is 5,120 kilobytes, so that is tiny.
Yeah.
And the great thing for me about this game, one of my favorite all-time Vita games, is it was almost a direct port of the PS3. And if you
looked it.
Absolutely. It did. And this is the thing, if you're going to do a port for the PS Vita, do it right. Do it big or go home.
Exactly.
Bottom line.
Exactly.
And Rayman Origins did that. It nailed what the port should be. It's a fun game.
It is. It's absolutely fun, and it's a game that, you know, you can enjoy on the consoles, you can enjoy on the Vita. It's good on both. Play it. It's a fantastic game if you haven't, and you should have already.
I don't think there's any more quarrels about this or any questions about it. No. You see the gameplay. We'll keep that up for a couple moments. We're actually going to talk about some of the other software before we move on to putting the next gameplay up there for you guys. You know, talking about Resistance, talking about games like Rayman Origins. So other games that we had here that have really stood out to us have been, FIFA Soccer. It's had great multiplayer, huge supporting.
Worldwide.
Yeah. We got Euro Cup going on right now, 2012. I'm sure a lot of you guys are hitting that up. FIFA 13 has been confirmed for the PS Vita.
Yes, it has.
It's another game to look forward to. So you guys like the FIFA 12, you're probably going to pick up 13. I know I will.
Exactly.
Little Deviants has been a hit and miss. It's a good game.
Good concept.
It utilizes the Vita's features, and that's what it's strong for. It uses the touch screen, the rear touch, the front touch, and just shows you the different things that you can do, the gyroscope, all that fun stuff. Uncharted is a beast of a game.
Yeah, Uncharted is great. That is a game that, when we first see it, that's a game that makes you want to buy the system.
Exactly, yeah.
Right off the bat, you see it. This is a game that, and it's, again, exclusive.
Exactly. And while I love the game, I had my quarrels with it. For those of you
It's
who
not perfect.
For those of you who wondering who you are, check out my video on it, Uncharted, because I will address the quarrels in that video. I don't want to go into it now too much.
Yeah.
But there is another game. I want to show you gameplay of that game. And what was that game?
That was Gravity Rush.
Gravity Rush.
Gravity Days, Gravity Rush.
Yeah, whatever
Gravity
you know
somewhere.
about.
We're in Gravity.
I don't have it here amongst a stack of games, but we will have the gameplay up for you. This is an absolutely phenomenal game. And it introduces a lot of new mechanics and elements. So you can elaborate that a little bit on that.
I mean, the one thing that I really like about the game that you don't really see done now, of course, and this is where the Vita kind of shines, is the ability to traverse and navigate through your different environments. Not just staying on one plane, but moving across different planes as you progress, and even doing combat while you're floating around. It actually is very intuitive. When I had played it, you're able to very easily, just using the controls, just be able to float up, you aim where you want, you go, and you can kind of stop mid-air, do combat if necessary, and you just kind of move all over the place. It's kind of mind-bending, but not as bad as some, they have, like, for example, Dark Void, and sometimes that game felt like you're kind of all over the place, which is a decent feeling at times. This one you didn't quite get that feeling of being, that you were being on the side of a wall or above, but once you kind of positioned yourself, you got it, and it's a great game.
Well, we've always been supporters of games like that from Dark 14.
We love individual IPs.
The games that try something different, and that's what it is at the end of the day. So, all in all, with all the software that we've seen that has come up to this point, including games like Metal Gear Solid and Gravity Rush, and games to come that we've talked about in the future, we talked about sales, and one of the things I want to actually touch upon there for you is actually Persona 4.
Persona 4, that is a good example.
And it's a game that spiked sales huge for the Vita.
Yeah, and especially in Japan there.
Yeah, and it goes to show...
Big time.
It goes to show exactly what you said, right? And that is that with the right software, the Vita can have the push. And you said this from day one.
Yep, exactly.
And Persona 4 has had a huge following already from the get-go. Persona's a great game, great title, great RPG kind of game.
Yep.
And once it came out in Japan, the sales, I think they doubled. They went from 13,000 to about 32,000. It was the first most selling game of the first week. I believe it was of June-ish, and it was the number one selling game. Yeah. And then the Vita actually went from, I think it was one of the fifth or sixth place in terms of consoles. It went all the way up to second most sold console for that week alone.
Very close to hitting first place.
Exactly. I mean, outdoing PS3 and Xbox 360. So again, if we can continue to see the software and the support, hopefully the Vita is going to continue to grow, and we can get that price drop, and we can continue to see how that plays into the things like the PS4.
Yeah.
But before we get to that integration, one of the things we want to talk about with this is the software of the actual system.
Exactly.
Now, it utilizes a, again, we talked about 5-inch touch capacitive OLED screen, I believe it is.
That's right.
It has the 8-core processor, and it has a very bubble-like feel. It is. And it's a bubble-like software that you get the icons kind of like little individual bubbles, and they're placed all over. You'll see it because, again, we're having a video on this as we're talking about it.
Exactly.
And it's smooth, it's intuitive. You have multiple screens. You're not limited to, say, for example, 4. You can have 5, 6, 7, whatever you want to put.
Yeah, and multitasks very well.
Exactly. You can change things like your lock screen down to your background and wallpapers.
Yeah, and by page. So you can have individual backgrounds for each individual page if you want. So you can really kind of build and customize.
And there's a lot of tips and tricks when it comes to the software. I mean, you can turn off the background noise. You can customization. We can provide you with some more information again. Jump over to some of our blogs and check out the information because we have tons and tons of tips and tricks.
A great tip and trick on how to add a screen protector onto your Vita. Amazing.
Exactly. And well, not even that. I mean, we have things like software chips. Another tip that I actually came across, and we talked about the nubs here for the system, is being able to take things like an earbud and just cut the back of it and just apply it over the nub of the dual joystick, and it will actually raise them to make them feel kind of like a PS3 controller. There's
an idea. There's a tip for you guys right there.
Exactly.
For free.
For free. Everything's good free. Here, take a Vita. But all in all, we've seen great things. Anything else you want to add? We talked about PS4. Maybe we should talk about how we might see this implemented into the Orbis.
Well, some of our sources have indicated that this is going to be a big part on the Orbis itself. I mean, we're seeing now, for example, with the Wii U and that kind of tablet controller thing that they're going to be going with, and that launches soon. The PS4, essentially, this is supposed to be kind of the same idea. But of course, when you're looking at it as more of a handheld, it's going to provide a lot of different options and intuition that you can do with it that you wouldn't see maybe on that Wii tablet, at least not that from what we can see right now. We're looking at a real, true integration between the Orbis and the Vita.
And speaking of tablets, we had Smart Glass come out from Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, the Smart Glass. Yeah.
And this is Sony's way of basically replying. We always had a remote play. It was never, never, ever, ever utilized with the Vita. And I'm hoping that we can actually, get to see some more remote play content. Because we haven't seen it yet. And that's what everyone was advertising initially, was the Killzone 3 game. That people were like, oh my god, this is absolutely great. I want the system. It's one of the reasons I bought the system. Yeah. I have kids. I want to be able to play my game. I want to play it on remote play. So hopefully we're going to see more integration of that.
I think that's probably the thing, other than the software, that we really want to see stepped up with the Vita, is that there's so much potential in the system. Not forgetting programming and building games, because that takes time. With any system that comes out, 360, Wii, PS3, PS2, all the systems, you always start off it starts off weak because they've only had a limited amount of development time, and they get better and better and better. So I don't think that's going to be the issue as long as the software keeps coming. But it's more like all these features: cross-play, cross-save, remote play, cross-controller, all these things that we want to see that the Vita is capable of, but just hasn't come out yet.
I think, guys, the big thing we're going to see with the PS4, or the Orbis, as we know it, will be this utilized as a controller. So cross-controller being one of the heavy things. Orbis and the Vita, Orbis Vitae, is also the meaning for Circle of Life. Yep. So we can expect a heavy focus with this. See this being pushed more and more on the shelves. Hopefully a price drop soon. All in all, final thoughts on the PS Vita. Anything you want to wrap up and say?
Yeah, final thoughts on this, guys. The hardware is great. I am loving it. I think it's one of the best handheld. It is the best handheld by far, in my opinion, as far as gaming systems are out there. Lots of great software, but we just need to see that more. That's my only complaint. Just the software, not the hardware.
Do you recommend it as a purchase?
At this time, I would say just do your research. If you are looking at these games, and let's say, for example, you love Rayman, you love Uncharted, you love Resistance, by all means, I recommend it as a purchase. But if you look at it right now and you're like, some of these softwares... Yeah, exactly. Then I would say wait till Q4 of this year. I have a very, very strong feeling we're going to see some big things.
Yeah. I actually have to echo that statement to a T. If the Vita's up your boat and you do your research, obviously go ahead and purchase it. If you're kind of hesitant towards it, then maybe it's not your time to buy it right now.
Yeah, actually, I want to give one example on that, if I may, before we close out. Yeah. Is right now, me and Daddy right now. Daddy looked at the games. He's like, I love this. I love the games. I love the functionality and the abilities. He went and bought one. I looked in and said, well, I like the games. There's a lot of good games on there, but I want a little bit more. I'm waiting, but I will be getting one. I just want to see that software.
Exactly. So this has been a first-hand look 4 months later from the launch of the PS Vita from the MediaPurchaseGuide.com.
Check us out.
You guys have made this possible for us. Remember to like and subscribe. I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to watch these videos and see what we have to say. So jump on over to the website, see what we got to say there, because we got lots of information from you, from kids, techs, and gadgets to cars to tips and tricks to all your goodies that you need to know at the one-stop tech shop. What is that called? The MediaPurchaseGuide.com. Exactly. Daddy1424, I'm going to sign off like usual. He has his chuckle and laugh. Peace. Love.
Take care and have a good one, guys.